know, these people, they be driving me crazy. Let me let up this window. I'm getting disgusted a little bit. Anyway, this is James from the I'm Free Project, and appreciate all the good feedback, and then even some of the negative feedback, but I expect that. It's actually funny. So anyway, keep them coming. All right, you know, I'm so tired, and you know, I don't want to seem like it's, you know, I'm always complaining or anything like that. I think, you know, again, it's bringing awareness to the masses of the homosexual agenda. Far be it from being gay, it's homosexual. So anyway, so let's proceed with this overview of the foolishness I heard this morning on the Yolanda Adams morning show. And I hate to call Yolanda Adams to the carpet, or in her crew to the carpet. I'm not calling them to the carpet, but I'm just making people aware, you know. And I've had discussions about these gospel artists with other people before, because the level of tomfoolery and foolishness that I'll say worldliness that comes from them sometimes is laughable. I mean, it's and almost embarrassing, to say the least. So I'm listening to the radio station today, this morning, you know, tried to put on a little gospel station when I can pick it up, and here in Atlanta. Let me close this right here. And so as I am listening to it, you know, they were getting all excited because they were having Naomi Campbell today on the radio station. She was talking to Naomi Campbell, and in the process of that, so they get Naomi Campbell on the line. You know, they go through their pleasantries and all of that stuff, and so they were just so excited about the fact that a lot of the listeners of the radio station, you know, she said, "Oh, everyone, we all love the show." And the character, you know, she said our listeners love this new show, Empire. And just carrying on, they were just all aglow in their voices about Empire, and oh my gosh, Empire this, Empire that, and the role that she's playing and so forth. And it was just like, oh my gosh, are they really carrying on about Empire? You know, are they really going there about Empire when the purpose behind Empire from the producer's mouth is to blow the lid off of homophobia in the black community, and with the direct/indirect slap to the church as well, simply because and I'm going to post the links behind this, because on the website, excuse me, if you go on YouTube and just Google Lee Daniels and Empire homophobia, you're going to see that he's had interviews with GLAAD. He's had interviews with TV Guide, and talking about how he wants to blow the lid off of homophobia in the black community, as if to say that the black community is scared of. And you know, I said that before. What the movie was about is really about homosexuality and bringing it to light in the black community. And he even goes on to say that many of the parts, even like the first part on part one, where the little boy was walking down the stairs with the high heels on, how that was a part of his life as well. But just talking about how the black community deals with homosexuality, not homophobia, because to say that people have a phobia is to say that medically you have given them a diagnosis with regards to the fears and things of that nature. So it's not homophobia. That's the gag word. That's what it is. That's the gag word, just to capture people's attention. I would really venture to say that they have a heterophobia, you know, and trying to or ex-gayophobia, you know, because the truth be told, if someone is an ex-gay or they come out of homosexuality, oh, they try to shut them down real quick. Really try to shut them down, and there are death threats that have been sent to many of people who have come out of homosexuality, because they don't want their stories to be heard. But anyway, moving right along back to Yolanda Adams and her radio show. So they were talking, and Yeah, so she's talking to Naomi Campbell, and they just, oh my gosh, they were just going in on how they loved it and so forth, and the great things that Naomi Campbell does. And, you know, as a fan of Naomi Campbell as a model and a humanitarian, you know, bravo to her. Hats off, kudos. You get, you know, 2 thumbs up, all that kind of good stuff. But here's the deal. You know, when you're singing praises and talking about, you know, Empire like it was the best thing since sliced bread, you know, what on a gospel radio station, what do you think is going to happen? And what do you think the people are doing? They're probably watching Empire. They're probably being influenced by Empire, because if the purpose behind Empire was to blow the lid off of homophobia and to get people to have more sympathy towards the homosexual quote unquote plight, then Lee Daniels is doing a very good job, because their viewership on that series has been astronomical. And funny, it goes up against Blackish too. I think it comes on Wednesday nights. And but anyway, so yeah, so Lee Daniels, you know what, you're doing what you said you was gonna do with your other, you know, when you talked about your buddy and y'all started talking about putting this together. And it's crazy, man. It's really crazy, but no one sees it. I'm trying to warn y'all, this is all about homosexuality and the church. And if you looked at the last scene, there was a scene on episode 2, I believe. If you looked at that scene where the son rejects the father, because if the father's love come with strings attached, in terms of Terrence Howard representing Father, God the Father, and the son wanted to go his own way, because the son didn't want to have anything to do with the father if it came with strings attached, and if he had to give up being quote unquote himself. And in that scene, y'all, check this out. Go back, and if you see it, if you're able to go to, you know, your cable or whatever, and pull up old episodes, in that scene, you will see as he's rejecting the father, there's a big cross in the background, a big neon blue cross in the background. Now, if that was not a direct implication, implying that I don't want to deal with God, if that means I got to give up myself as a homosexual, that was so planned and intended by the producers when they shot that scene. And it's funny that would happen when Terrence Howard, the father, is talking to his homosexual son. And the son just rejects the father and give back the keys and give back everything that's attached in terms of his apartment, his loft or whatever, and the music career, saying, I don't want it if it comes with all this. I don't want it. So, again, y'all, that's basically saying that, okay, if I got to give up my homosexuality to be with God, this is basically what the scene is saying, that I don't want God. And that's how it goes. So he completely rejecting God and saying, you know, I'm going to do it my own way. So y'all, you got to see what's going on. You got to see what's happening. These people are gunning for the church. Hollywood is gunning for the church, and they're really gunning for the black community, because they know that if they can get the black community, that's the last hurdle that they have to get over. Because the black community and its own plight has been deeply rooted and tied into the black church. They would like to remove Martin Luther King as being a preacher, but first and foremost, he's a preacher of the gospel of Jesus Christ. But yeah, y'all, Yolanda Adams, tisk on you. I really can't get over how y'all are just excuse me, carrying on about this show. And just, oh, y'all just so excited about it. And black folks, understand when you're being pimped and played. You know, I love Yolanda Adams. I love her. You know, it's a great morning show. I love her. Trust me, her songs are etched in my heart and mind. But you know what? Tisk on y'all. Just call it out and call it what it is. And maybe she doesn't know. Maybe they don't know. Maybe they don't do the Googling like I do. Maybe they don't do the looking up. And she's just carrying on about, oh, I love Lee Daniels. I love Lee Daniels and all that. You know what? Lee Daniels is a gifted brother. Bless God. He really is. And he's doing his thing. And I don't knock the brother for that. Not at all. Because the gifts of God are without repentance. You know, I mean, hey, even the worst of us have gifts that God has given to everyone. And how you use them is between you and God. Whether you glorify God or you're going to glorify Satan. Now, with that in mind, Lee Daniels is choosing to glorify his sexuality. While using his gifts to do so. And Hollywood, and he has the money, time, and talent to back it up. So, but anyway, come on, church folk. Yolanda Adams, get it together. I'm not calling you out as a bad person because I love you. I really do. I think you are wonderful as a singer. I've never met you in person, but it seems like you are a beautiful person with a beautiful spirit. But you guys got to pay attention that when you say those things like that on the radio and you're praising these people, you are basically helping push that agenda. And I'm not saying that we need to just say, oh, you know, I don't care for that person or Lee Daniels or whatever. No, we still love people into the kingdom. Always. It's always about love. But love will also tell you the truth too. And love will also keep things in light and making sure that everyone is aware of what's truly going on. Because if the building is burning, I don't want you to lie to me and tell me that it's just another color. No, tell me that it's burning and I'm about to die. All right, this is James from the I'm Free Project. We're out. Peace.